that if you like any of the ideas from any of the speakers, and you don't use those ideas, we guarantee they won't work. It's up to you. If you want to call us and say the idea didn't work, my first question would be, did you try? And if you tried and it didn't work, it's like the first time you rode a bike, you fell off. Don't give up. Try again. Practice, do some role plays. Frankly, everybody out here is sharing ideas with you that work. Otherwise, what is the point of what we're doing? I'm going to share with you an element of my career to explain how I've achieved all those wonderful things that said on the stage, including, I'm so proud of this last month, the Lifetime Achievement Award for service to the profession. Thank you. But when I learned a lot of this was at MDRT, attending the $1 Million Roundtable. This year was my 30th year of attending in a row. With 25 years it's got the table. But what is the one thing that we know from MDRT members is this idea, this concept of sharing. There are people that we go to MDRT that have been there longer than we have. But they'll share with us, and what we learn, we share with others. And that's how we as a profession around the world grow, is by learning from those above us, so that we can emulate them to teach others. That is the spirit of MDRT. So in the spirit of MDRT, I want to do a first exercise with you. I want you to take a partner, so somebody sitting next to you, maybe somebody on another table if you have an odd number. And I'm going to give you 40 seconds each to share what is the best idea that you have used so far in 2026 that either got you a big client or closed a big case. What was the best idea that you used? Because by sharing an idea, you might have one, but you'll walk away with two, because your partner is going to share with you too. Okay, so choose your partner. Whoever is nearest to me here will ask the first question. What's your best idea that you have used this year? I'll give you 40 seconds, then I'll ask you to change over. Are we set? Let's go! Not passive by saying what message we want to get. Okay? Is that a deal? Fantastic. Well, before I came here, I was having a conversation with my friend Einstein. We are good friends. And I said to my friend Einstein, shh, you, for the courtesy of others, do you want to listen? Thank you. I was having a drink with my friend Einstein. I said to him, I'm going to be meeting some incredible people in Philippines. Is there something that you would like me to share with them? And my friend Einstein said to me, please share this message. That the problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. Think about that just for a moment. It's quite profound. The problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. What does that mean? It means we have to raise our level of thinking. We have to think beyond the problem, beyond the obvious solution, and find some new idea, some creativity. That's going to be the theme of both my presentation and everybody's presentation, is to raise your level of thinking. Prior to the meeting, I asked everybody to watch a 3-minute video. Did you all do that? Shout out to me, what did you learn from watching that video? Be different. What else? Yeah. I love that video because it taught me a lesson many decades ago. The lesson for me was, don't do what everybody else is doing. Just because other people are doing something, it may or may not be the best way. It may work for them, Can I find a better way? Can I find a unique way? That was the message from Dick Crosby. When he first started doing the backwards high jump, people said, that won't work. That doesn't get you the highest possible height. And he said, let me show you how. And that has been a theme of my life. In fact, that's the title of my book, Smashing the Glass Ceiling, is when people put glass ceilings over me to say, you can't do something. I don't hear those words. I hear the words from me, let me show you how. And I'm going to share with you elements of my career where I have smashed those glass ceilings and achieved the Fosbury flop by changing what people's attitudes have been. This is really powerful. We have to think out of the box so far that we cannot see the box anymore. That's the level of thinking that Einstein wants from us. So my presentation is called Be the Person You Want to Be in 10 years' time today. What does that mean? You see, it's not about material things. It's not I want a bigger house and I want 6 Ferraris and 4 Rolls Royces in 10 years' time. It's not about material things, it's about who I want to be. What kind of role do I want to play in family, in society, in community, in my business? Who am I? And why do I have to wait 10 years to be that person? Because I can do that behavior today. But if you don't know what your next decade looks like, how do you know what that behavior is going to be today? In order to take you on this journey, I'm going to make some assumptions. Now, my assumptions are wrong scientifically, but they're correct. Assumption number 1, time goes faster the older you get. Who agrees with me? Yeah, even though I'm wrong, I'm right. Time goes faster the older you get. There's a lot of young people in the room, you may not quite realize that yet, but you will. Time goes faster the older you get. Well, if time does go faster the older you get, what we can also say is that the next 10 years is going to go even faster than the last 10 years. Just imagine, just for a moment, back in 2016, what did life look like for you? Some of you are going to say, I was at school. That's okay. But what did life look like? What was your role in your family, society, community, business? Who were you? And can I put to you, from 2016 to 26, it's gone like that. Well, what's scary, if that has gone so fast, 2036 is going to come even faster. It's scary. We may think it's a long way off, but 2036 is on its way, faster than you can imagine. I call this your dream decade. Your dream decade is what are you going to be doing in each of the next 10 years? To be the person you want to be in 10 years, identify it, and start living that life, the mindset today. Part of what I asked you to do in my introduction video that was emailed to you was to fill in a tool called the Decade of Dreams. Has everybody done that? About 4 people at the front. So should we just have a conversation just in the front? Who has started doing the Decade of Dreams tool? Okay. Some of you have, and when we had the evening sessions, it was really good talking to the people that have done it. What did I say pretty much at the beginning? That if you come across an idea that you don't use my guarantee. If you don't use it, it won't work. If someone who is a 25-year top of the table member of MBRT is sharing a tool with you in advance of a conference and asking you to complete it, do you think I'm doing it to waste your time? No. It's because I think you could benefit from it. So, the attitude of a successful advisor is to embrace every possible idea and then do a Fosbury flop on it. To say, how could I use that in my world to my advantage? So if you haven't done it, the next part of this presentation may show you. But let's go through it anyway, because when you then come to fill it in, you'll have a greater understanding of what this tool can do. It's on a worksheet, ideally print it on A3 because then you're going to have more room in the boxes to write. And what you do on this tool, this worksheet, is work your way around it, but you don't do it in the obvious circular way. You look at where the step numbers are. The first step number is on the bottom left, and if you haven't done your tool now before, you can start it now. The first question is probably the easiest question on the form. What year are we in, and how old are you now? And don't think I need to give you those 2 comments. Step 2 takes you to the top right hand of the form, and it says, what year will it be in 10 years' time? 2036. And how old will you be then? Ouch. For most people, that's the big painful realization, that they will be 10 years older. Isn't that a bit scary? Already just writing that down? Now the key here is going to be how you complete this. What I want from you is to dream big. Dream bigger than you have ever done before. Dream about things that you perhaps only dreamt about before. Now, also, bring some realism to it, be practical. You know, if your dream is, I want to be an astronaut, then chances are you'll left that a little bit late. So, if there were no barriers to your dreams, nothing could stop you. But also, knowing what you know now, what would the next 10 years look like? What would 2036 look like? I want a list of 5 personal items and 5 professional items. What things do you want to achieve with yourself, your own personality, your health maybe, and your family, and your society and community? But in a professional world, where do you want to be? What does it look like? And dream big. It isn't enough to say, I'm going to reach MDRT. You should be saying, I want to reach TOT. In fact, you should be saying, I want to reach TOT in 6 months. Dream big. Because that's what true TOT people do. They don't wait for the whole year to get to TOT. They will typically do it in the first 6 months. Dream big. I'm not going to, if we were doing a workshop, and I do run coaching workshops, we'd be sitting down, filling in this form. This is something you need to do in your own time. But the more detail you can put on it, the more realistic the practicality of getting to your dreams. Dreams have to be vivid, in high definition. Once you've filled in your 10-year plan, then you move to step 3. Step 3 says, where will I be in 5 years? What year will I be in? 2021? How old will I be? The purpose of step 3 is to say, in order to get to my 10-year goal, where do I need to be on a 5-year platform? And remember, it doesn't have to be halfway, because time goes faster the older you get. It could be 1/3 of the way, because the following 5 will happen even faster. But in order to get anywhere, you've got to stop off on the way. In order to be where I want to be in 10 years, where do I need to be in 5 years? The audience is a little large for me to ask the question, so I'm going to give you the answer to the next question that I usually ask. What insight did you get when you filled in your 5-year platform? Here's the typical insight. My 10-year goal wasn't big enough. Because why do I need to wait 10 years? I could actually do it in 5. If you find yourself thinking that way when you're doing your 5-year platform, go back and revise your 10-year goal. Because it wasn't big enough. You will have that huge insight that goals can be achieved if you write them down. Once you have your step 3, you go to step 4, which is, in order to get to the 5-year platform, what do I need to do this year? What is my next 6 to 12 months? What are the steps, taking all the same 5 and moving them down as you go? In order to get to 10, I've got to start somewhere. What am I going to do now? Later on in the presentation, I'm going to be talking to you about what do I do in the next 3 months. You chunk it down from 10 to 5 to 1 to 3 months. You start to create a plan. This is a hugely powerful tool, and it has helped me to sustain success and have bigger dreams and bigger ideas of what I want. If it works for me, it could work for you. But it'll only work for you if you're willing to try. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Please don't make me ask every question twice. Tomorrow, when I do my Power of Words presentation, I want you to have filled this in overnight, because tomorrow I'm going to ask you to pair up and share. So if you haven't done it, your partner will embarrass you. Don't let them embarrass you. And I'm also going to share with you 2 further questions that need to be asked in order to make this come true. Who is, having filled it in, has got an idea of how you can now use this worksheet as a tool in your business? When we had the discussion in the smaller group, the big idea came through is that if you have not planned the next 10 years of your life, if you have not shared your dreams, nor have your clients. Most people can't think 10 days. Where am I going? 10 years? Nobody wakes up in the morning saying, I'm going to have a 10-year plan. But what if you gave this to your client and said, let's talk about your dreams? Anthony said yesterday, it's not about products, it's never about products. It's about helping clients fulfill their dreams. Dreams they have not even yet thought about, or even considered. Imagine, you fill this in with a married couple. They will tell you things they have not told each other. How many married couples have had a 10-year plan discussed? I bet you haven't. So, this is a worksheet that is not just for you to plan the rest of your 10 years, but for you to use with your clients and take them through. Because when we start talking about clients' dreams, we don't need to talk about products, because we're having conversations that nobody else is having. And when you have those kind of conversations, you build relationships. And what happens naturally is a question that you then ask after this is, so what might stop you achieving your 10-year dream? And invariably, it will involve answers that involve money. I might lose my job. My business may go bust. I might fall ill. We can help. I might die. We can help. The tool is a sales tool. But we're using it to help people get a grip on their own life, and in doing so, create opportunities for us to help them with the products that will naturally flow. But the conversation is not starting from product. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Are you going to try and use it with the client? It's more like it. Good. So my presentation about being the person you want to be in 10 years' time is going to involve 5 keys. I want to take you through each of these keys and demonstrate with some stories, some analogies, experiences in my life, how I have turned these keys in one door to create the next 10 years, the next 20 years of my life. The 5 keys are desire, I will explain each of these separately, vision, determination, attitude, and focus. If you put those 5 categories, those 5 keys together, you unlock the door to your future success. That will come later. The first one, desire. What does the word desire mean? Desire comes from deep within. In fact, it comes from our dreams. Our dreams create our desires. If you fill in the dream decade, you know what your desire is in year 10. But desire is such a strong, powerful word that it means you have it or you don't. It is full on or nothing. In the English language, we have this strange phrase of half-hearted desires. What does that mean? A half-hearted desire. It means none at all. There's no such thing as a half-hearted desire. It just means I have no desire. Because desire is 100% or 0. Are we clear?
Yes. Yes.
You really want something, but if second best is good enough, you didn't really want something. It's a disaster if you don't get what you desire. It has to be so strong, it has to be so powerful. Where do we learn to create desire? It's got to be a desire to win. It's got to be a desire to finish, to get to the end, no matter what comes our way. No matter what pitfalls come our way, the desire is going to make us finish the race. Is that clear?
Yes.
It's got to come from deep. I want you to watch a video. It's quite a long video. It's because I'm a little bit older as well, so I remember these things when they happen. That illustrates to me the powerful nature of strong desire. By the way, in my presentation, sometimes we're going to get a little bit emotional. It's okay. If you need to shed a tear, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It shows you're involved.
The best holy show since Ibrahim Revolution.
When they try their best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. And the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone it goes to waste. Could it be worse? That's when
It's your desire to finish the race. You don't have to win, but that desire to finish makes things happen. But the second thing that comes from that for me is help people along the way. Part of our MBRT philosophy is not, it's about me. It's about who else can I bring with me? Who else can I help to achieve their success? Who can I help that may be feeling down? And certainly, I have had periods in my life where I don't feel things are going right. I go to MBRT friends, and I say to them, can I buy you a coffee? I need to talk to you. I need your help, I need your support. And they have then helped me and taken me through that down period. So So we have a dual responsibility, both to ourselves and to others, and triple to our partners. So how do you create desire? I mentioned earlier on, it comes from your dreams. Dreams that are active dreams is meditation. Meditation is, I call, programming the subconscious mind. And some of you are now looking at me saying, what is he talking about? What is subconscious mind? I don't have one of those. Have you ever been driving your car, listening to the radio, a song comes on the radio, and then you remember the song, and you're trying to remember the name of the artist, or where you first heard that song because it was a memory, but you can't remember, you're thinking, and then somebody cuts you up, and then you stop thinking about it, and you drive along, and then maybe 1 hour later, maybe even the next day, the answer to your question pops in your head. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Where did it come from? It was not your conscious mind, because you stopped thinking about it. But what we had done with the conscious mind was program the subconscious mind, which doesn't stop. Because if you dream with clarity through meditation, you are programming your subconscious mind. The clearer you can give your subconscious mind the message, the more chance it will find you the answer. And that has happened to me throughout my career, where I will dream about things. I will dream about maybe an event I wanted to speak at. Next thing I know, I've met somebody who had nothing to do with it, but I mentioned it to them. My subconscious mind says, just tell this person what your dream is. And then the dream came. So learn to meditate, and I'm not going to talk about how we do that. If we were doing a workshop, I'd take you into meditation. We would do that. This is not the time, but we can stay awake. But through meditation, we see the subconscious mind. With the subconscious mind program, we create desire. With desire, everything else will follow. It can't be half-hearted, it's going to be full on. So after desire, we have vision. Vision is taking that desire, that dream, and putting it out in a specific format, where I can articulate very simply what my desire is. Vision is now a major key. Let's take an example where you see yourself, and this is your gravestone. Who would be happy with this wording on their gravestone? Yes?
Yes.
Well, what if it carried on and said, but could have done better? Which sadly is going to be the gravestone for many people. Nobody in this room, of course. But many people will have that gravestone. Wouldn't it be better to have this on your gravestone? I think so. To be remembered for what you did in your life, for the successes you created for yourself and others. Zig Ziglar, the great author, wrote that one of life's greatest tragedies is unrealized potential. I love that quote. One of life's greatest tragedies is unrealized potential. What does that mean? It means you've got the potential, but if you fail to realize it, it's not just sad, it's a tragedy. It's a waste of not fulfilling your potential. This is a very famous mountain. Anyone recognize this mountain? It's called Mount Rushmore in America. A sculptor called Gutzon Borglund saw the potential in the mountain. What does that mean? He saw the potential in the mountain. The mountain was holding and hiding its potential. Gutzon Borglund said, I'm going to release the potential that is in the mountain. He could see 4 presidents' heads inside the mountain. He didn't put those heads on the mountain, he revealed them. My friends, you all have potential. And all the speakers here today are not here to give you potential. You have it inside you. All that we can do is help you to realize your own potential. If you are willing to try. It's down to you. You can learn and write down every single idea you learn from this conference and do the normal thing that most people do, put it in your filing. Great. You went to a conference, tick the box, get your CPD points, but you aren't doing any action. Filing your notes is not taking action. It's what you implement from that. So let's look and explore your vision. I want you to pair up again. I want you to take the same person you spoke to earlier, and I want you to ask, decide who goes first. I'll give you 40 seconds again, each, to answer the following questions. So you ask your partner, in your personal and professional life, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Okay, make it a bit easier than 10. In your personal and professional life, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Okay, we're ready? You got your partner? Decide who's going first, ask the question. I'll give you 40 seconds and I want you to change. Maybe, possibly, if the sun was shining the right way and the wind blowing in my direction, I might do this. My friends, if you use any vague language, you do not have a vision. If you don't have a vision, how do you know where you're going? You see, a vision is so strong, so powerful, it's on the tip of your tongue, that when somebody asks you about your 5-year plan, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to pause in your answer. You know where you're going. You are a person of substance. You are a person of direction, of strength. You know what you want in life. When somebody asks you, it's your most favorite question. Because you're getting the opportunity to share your big dreams. So if you cannot articulate your 5-year plan immediately when asked, you need to create one. First step after this conference, sit down, have a coffee, have a tea, have a beer, whatever you prefer. Write down your 5-year vision. Break it down, understand it, embrace it within your heart. Because when somebody else asks you that in the future, and you should challenge each other in a few weeks' time with the same question, see what the answer is, and see if somebody has worked on creating their vision. Because if you don't have a vision, the rest of that 5 keys don't work. Because the purpose of all the other keys is to fulfill your vision. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Yes.
Thank you. A long way to go, you won't keep me away. How can you create a vision? What's important about having a vision? How many people here have ever put together 100-piece, a 500-piece, maybe even 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle? Okay, a 4-piece jigsaw puzzle. Very shy audience. Let me ask you again, I cannot believe across these 4 countries nobody's done a jigsaw puzzle. How many people here have ever done a jigsaw puzzle? Without a picture on the box.
Oh Lord.
Be crazy. You would never dream of starting. But how many of us are living our lives picking up pieces of jigsaw puzzle without the picture we want? How many of us will reach the end of our life, look at all the pieces of puzzle we accumulated and say, I don't like the picture I created. Can I do it again? No, it's too late. Would it not make more sense to have that picture on the box of life, so that when we know with high definition clarity, this is who I am, this is what I want, I'm then going to identify the pieces of the puzzle that are going to get me to that picture, and throw away the pieces of puzzle that belong to somebody else. Focus. I'm going to only focus on the things that get me to where I want to be, not what just makes me happy today. This is the mark of true success. Successful people, TOT people, always know where they're heading. They don't live day by day. The picture on the box, the vision, is the key to everything. Once you have that picture, then you can say, what are the pieces of puzzle that I need to pick up? And you don't pick up the entire 1,000 pieces in one go. You pick up elements. And when you start putting the sky area together, and the green area, and the brown areas together, they start to gel, and eventually they'll mesh into one big picture. But you don't do, I'll do the sky first, then I'll do the ground, then I'll do the trees. You do it all, don't you? That's life. We are going to be picking up pieces, but they are going to go in different places, and eventually they're going to create that picture. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Can I share with you how I use the jigsaw puzzle analogy to achieve my success? Would you like to know?
Yes.
Some of you would like to. Who would like to know how I created my first jigsaw puzzle of my vision of the future and what I did to implement it? Would you like to know?
Yes.
Because even if you don't, I'm going to tell you. What I'm going to do in the next part of my presentation is talk about my career. Not because I want to show off. I'm not here to do that. I want to give you some inspiration. I want to show you how having a clear vision and sense of direction and knowing what I want can make magical things happen. But the key is, I am one of you. I'm an ordinary financial advisor. All the problems, all the issues, all the concerns you face every day, I have them too. I just have a different way of dealing with them. So I want you to not be looking at this saying, okay, he's done something I can't do. You could. You could do everything that I'm going to be sharing with you if you are willing to try. Isn't that the key theme I keep saying? If you are willing to try. Because I guarantee you'll rise otherwise if you don't try. So let me take you back to me becoming a financial advisor. Back in late 1993. So I've been doing this for about 32, 33 years. Something must be working to keep me in that level of success for that long. It could work for you too. Well, on my first day of becoming a financial advisor, my previous job, by the way, for 5 years, I was what's called a broker consultant. I was servicing independent financial advisors, trying to encourage them to use my company for their clients. So I had sales experience, but not in front of customers, in front of other professionals. I got bored in that job and I decided that I wanted to become a financial advisor. I set myself a goal, a target, a 5-year vision. My 5-year vision was to be recognized as the most professional advisor to the Asian community within 5 years.
Wow.
In the UK, where I'm from, the Asian community means the Indian subcontinent, rather than Asian Pacific. Is that a clear goal?
Yes.
Clear vision?
Yes.
To be recognized as the most professional advisor to a particular niche market. Write it down. Share it with friends. Because when you share, you've put a little bit of pressure on yourself to achieve those things. That was the picture on the box for me for the next 5 years. Where did I learn this from? It was a friend of mine who I was looking after when I was in my previous job. His name's Anand. He's gay, and his niche market was the gay community in the UK. The gay community is affluent. They tend to be in well-paid creative jobs, and they tend not to have the expenses of running a family. A niche market is not just one that exists, but one that is worth you targeting. Now, Ivan realized that if you target a niche market, you need to become the go-to person in that market, which means using media. So he was advertising and writing articles in the Gay Times newspaper. He would sponsor the Pride Award. He became known as the advisor to the pink pound. I learned that from Ivan, that by having a niche market that is affluent, that you can distinguish yourself in, sets you apart. Which is where my vision came from. So learn from others, but don't copy them, emulate them. The first piece of my jigsaw puzzle, therefore, was so what? That's my target. How do I implement my target? Was I need people to know. How can I get people to know? Was the media. So I approached Eastern Eye newspaper. Now, I say newspaper, there's some younger people in this room who don't know what I'm talking about. A newspaper is paper filled with news. Some of you have never picked up a newspaper, right now. In those days, that was where we got our news from, was a paper full of words. So I approached Eastern Eye newspaper, which is an English language newspaper with a 40,000 a week circulation. And I spoke to the editor and I said, and by the way, the principles is what I want you to understand. How you can use media. You're not going to do a decent eye, but you're going to find a niche for yourself. Find out who talks to that niche, and then you want to be part of that organisation. So I approached the editor of the Eastern Eye newspaper, and I said to him, listen, you want to be a big paper, But you don't talk about the big thing that Asians like talking about, it's money. You have no personal finance plan. Could I be your personal finance editor? By the way, those that are on their phones, I hope you're trying to call these tonight and get my job. Sorry, it throws me when I see people on the phone. It doesn't quite work. Because I'm wondering, is that more important than listening? I'm very bold, I will say what I see. So then after some negotiation, I became installed as finance editor for East London. I would write articles every week, I would have my picture, my headline and my phone number published. After a while, I'd start attending parties and weddings where people would recognise me. And they said, well, I like what you're doing, I need to talk to you about financial advice. I was starting to build some recognition. People would get to know who I am. Now, by the way, it's important for me to say, that's not to say there were no other good financial advisors to the Asian community, but nobody had a brand. Nobody stood out for being recognised, so there was the opportunity. So I was writing articles. After a while, people who ran other publications started to read my articles and like them, and say, would you write for us? So I was writing for other publications. No, it was the same article every time. And I used to charge for it. Not a lot, but just to copy and paste the same article. So I was starting to build broader recognition as an expert. Because if you're in the media, rightly or wrongly, you are seen as an expert. The media is very powerful for making us look really big. This was still not yet achieving my goal of being recognised as the most professional. So I entered a competition in the UK run by a magazine called Plan Savings, called IFA of the Year, IFA's Independent Financial Advisor. The format of the competition is Plan Savings would issue a booklet with 12 different case studies in different aspects of financial planning. You would then write a report in one of those areas in a form of a 2,000-word report. I entered in the retirement planning for the self-employed category. The top 3 in that category are then shortlisted and come in for live judging. And it's a bit like the Britain's Got Talent type judging, and you're challenged with further questions. At that stage, all you know is I'm top 3 in one of the categories. You then go to the award ceremony, which is very much like the Oscars. They put the 3 nominations for each category on the screen, and from an envelope they say the winner of that category is whoever it is. And then out of the 12 category winners, who is the best overall IFA again? I'm going to share with you a very old video where Lord Geoffrey Archer, some of you may know him as an author, was presenting the awards. What I want you to do is listen to what he says made the judges feel were the characteristics of a winner. That's what I want you to be listening for. What makes somebody stand out from everybody else? What can make you stand out from your peers?
All except, of course, the main award of the afternoon, which, of the many skilled practitioners who you've already seen come up on this stage, will win the coveted title Independent Financial Advisor of 1995. For the answer, I'm spoken to the sponsors, Scottish Life. But first let me say that in the opinion of the judges, the IFA of the Year is highly motivated, highly qualified, with impressive technical expertise and excellent presentational skills. Those were the reasons given for giving this final award. I've lost my place. Oh, excellent. Please welcome the Assistant General Manager Sales of Scottish Life, Ray Milne, to make the award. One of you is going to come up and receive the main award, and Ray will now tell us which one it is.
The 1995 IFA of the Year is a warmest congratulations from Scottish Life and everyone present to Bhupinder Anand.
Thank you. It was 30 years ago. I still feel it. I still feel the tingle of that. But notice two things. Did you listen to what they said were the characteristics of a winner? But the other thing, when did that happen? I was 14 months in the business.
Wow.
To be rated number 1 out of 30,000 in just 14 months. Why? Because I had a 5-year plan. And because time goes faster the older you get, and the next 5 years will pass faster than the rest, it only took 14 months to reach my 5-year goal. That's what happens. If you have clarity of vision, you start to find the pieces of the puzzle, your goal does not take as long as you think it should. It will accelerate. People said to me when I was entering, you're too young, you're too inexperienced, you're too immature, you're not blonde and blue-eyed. This was the UK, 90s. They won't give it to you. What's my response when somebody puts a glass ceiling on me and says you can't do something? What do I say? Let me show you how. Let me show you how. And that was the result. And I still make a noise about this today because not only did I win it once, I won it again in 2003. It's the only advisory you get to win it once. Thank you. I told you I don't want to show off, but I want to show you what you could be doing if you had clear vision. Eastman and I were so happy that we'd be on the front page. It's not always a good thing to be on the front page of a newspaper, but this was. It felt quite strange walking into the newsagent and seeing my face on the front page of a newspaper. It led on to greater opportunities. I was doing radio programs, I was doing TV programs. This is Bloomberg TV. As I said, I won the award again. But then, here's the crazy thing. When you are someone who has a sense of belief in yourself, driven by a sense of direction of where you're going, people want to join your ride. People want to work with you if you are a person of substance. Person of substance, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going, I'm telling the whole world. Think about it. Who likes to be around negative people? Nobody. Who likes to be around positive people? Of course we do. Well, so does everybody else think the same way. When they're talking to us, what are they experiencing? Positivity or negativity? Because the only way they'll work with us is if we're on fire ourselves. Because we know what we want. An opportunity came along which demonstrates that it doesn't matter who you are, how big or small you are in your business, there is an opportunity if people know where you're going. Eastman and I was approached by the publisher of the Sunday Times Rich List as an annual list of the 1,000 richest people in the UK. And the publisher, Philip Beresford, found and realised that there were many, many Asian names in that top 1,000. And he approached Eastman and I and he said to them, I could publish you a list of the top 200 richest Asians in the UK. Would you like to publish it? And Eastman and I said, yes, but we need some sponsors. So they approached me, little old me, to be a sponsor, alongside this small other business you may or may not have heard of, HSBC. How crazy is that? HSBC and Bhupinder and Anand as joint sponsors of this magazine.
Wow.
That's mad. It gets even madder, because when this magazine was launched, it was launched at the Cafe Royal Hotel in London with 200 of the richest people in the country by Prime Minister Tony Blair.
Wow.
Now some of you are too young to know who Tony Blair was, but in that period he was the Prime Minister of the UK. I sat next to Tony Blair on the main platform for 2.5 hours. I was his warm-up speaker as a sponsor. HSBC did not speak, they did not even sit on the main platform.
Wow.
How crazy is that? Now I have to tell you, that was not in my dreams. You know, if my dream said I want to have dinner with the Prime Minister, I'd get locked up. But here's my point. Crazy things can happen if you have the ability, the desire to believe you can get there. It won't happen otherwise. If you just carry on doing what you've always done and not changing what you're doing, 10 years time you'll be saying, I wasted 10 years. have a vision, have a plan, have a goal, have a desire, implement the other key steps I'm going to talk about, and amazing things can happen if you have the courage to try. It takes courage, it takes commitment to say, to do the things you have to do. I want to talk to you about how I generate leads today. How I get brand new clients. Very quickly, who is using social media effectively? Effectively to me means at least 20 leads a month. Who's getting at least 20 leads a month? Oh, hardly anyone. Okay, let's make it easier. 10 leads a month. Don't be shy. I'm not going to ask you anything. Light is not moving. 10 leads, not even 10. 5 leads a month. 1 lead a month. This is telling me that most people, the vast majority of the room, has not yet learned how to use social media. Would you like me to tell you how I generate leads in social media? By getting, ready? 3 to 5 millionaire inquiries per day.
Wow.
Would you like to know how?
Yes.
Why is that the biggest yes? I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. And here's this as well, at no cost. I don't advertise, I don't spend any money, and yet I'm bringing in millionaire inquiries daily. More than I can actually manage. So if somebody wants a job in London, let me know. You see, the understanding is, the word in front of social media, that's changed over the years. But the word media is remaining the same. And understanding how you use media is a key to success if you want to build a bigger business. You see, I got involved in print media, radio media, TV media, now social media. But the principles I applied back at Eastern High are what are now working for me now. What you have the advantage over me is you've now got AI to supercharge you. Because even if you've never written an article in your entire life, AI will do it for you. Learn how to use AI, it's such a powerful tool. There are lots of different forums that we could use social media. I only use one. I use Facebook. Why? Because I'm scared of using everybody else because I cannot handle the leads I've got. People say to me, you'll get even more if you went on Instagram, if you ran TikTok videos. I don't want any more. What do I do if I can't handle what I already have? Is that a nice problem?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, I'll send them over to you again. Facebook. Partly also because it's the right demographic for the kind of client I want to talk to. I find that people who are using TikTok are generally younger people not earning the kind of money I want them to earn because I want to earn as well. So it's Facebook. So how do I use Facebook? Is through a series of steps. First of all, to create awareness. Who am I? Back to my 5-year plan that I set out. I had a big vision. Only I knew that vision. I needed other people to know. So building awareness is building a brand. I need people to create an interest in what I'm doing. It's all very well being aware of me. Are they interested in me? Two different things. And then, the desire to take action. Using language, which we'll talk about tomorrow, the power of words, to make them compelled to want to talk to me. How am I doing that? I'm using Facebook groups. On Facebook, no doubt many of you are members of groups as well. There are thousands and thousands of different groups dealing with different affinities. Find groups that make sense to you, that you can build a community. Here's one, probably the biggest one for me, it's called Professional Patient. It has around 100,000 members from all around the country. People ask questions about anything. It could be, I'm looking for a DJ for a party, I'm looking for a caterer for a wedding, I'm looking for a plumber. It could be anything. Invariably, people will ask questions about finance. That's my cue. What I'm going to show you are real life examples of pages where people have asked questions, and I'm going to show you what typical responses look like and then what I do. You ready? And by the way, here's another one, landlord tax. I do with a lot of people who own property, and that's a good group where I get leads from. This is a real question. Pavan Teti, I don't know who he is. Could be a she, even, I don't know. Asked the question, hi PAs, professional agents, looking for help with a good financial pensions advisor in London, any recommendations appreciated. Is that an opportunity?
Yes.
But look at how people respond. The first one there, we have advisors from London, happy to get one of them to give you a call. If it's a simple query, by all means drop us a quick direct message. How boring. It gets worse. Feel free to contact me, I can sort it for you. Oh, wonderful. He must be amazing. He really knows his stuff. A recommendation, a phone number. I can help, you can contact me. Give me a reason to call any of these people. How are they differentiating themselves from each other? It carries on. We're based in Harrow, we can help you, feel free to contact me, wonderful. We're currently working with them to transfer our pensions, recommended. Okay, that's a big one. It goes worse. I mean, I could carry on, we don't have time, but they're all one-line answers. There is no way, I may as well pick up, again, younger people may not remember this, the yellow pages. The phone directory. I may as well just go to that and randomly choose. My time will come. It's my time. This is, I'm going to read this out really quickly to give you a flavour of what I do every single time. Notice what everybody else does. Email, phone number, happy to help. That's as far as it went. Very quickly, I'm going to talk fast. Hi, Pavan, I'd be happy to help. I've been advising on pension investments and life insurance for over 30 years. I've also twice won the award for IFA of the Year and rated as best IFA in the capital by Unique Standard and training financial advisors all over the world. Are you looking to invest, transfer, get better management, self-manage, draw benefits? So many questions and things to understand. Some of those activities require a special license. Do call me with no obligation for Facebook Uxbridge, and here's a link to a profile. Thank you. But that's fine, I've got even better since then. If you're going down the list of people that you might want to contact, who is standing out to you? Is it me? Because the others are just a list. So we have to differentiate ourselves. Now this is what I learned when I was doing media, newspaper, radio, TV. My audience is not public. My audience is not the person who asks the question. I don't really care whether the public calls me or not. I recognize that there may be 1,000 other people reading this. And I might just resonate at that time with somebody there and who says, hey, you're talking to me. And if not, I'm building a brand and reputation that at some point in the future, when the time is right, they will search for me. Learn to write. Learn to differentiate yourself and not just be a phone directory. Like another example? Very quickly again. Baron says, hope someone can help me. What is my life insurance and mortgage protection insurance for me and my wife? Which one is better? Should I buy separately or combine with my wife? Which company, how many years, and how much should we go for? Isn't this the stuff we want to talk about? And rest, what are things we should keep in mind or careful before buying insurance? Suresh helps a lot. Probably the best answer, combine. People are idiots. Pavan, a bit more helpful. I always compare the prices of two policies similar to a joint. I recommend separate policies, a little bit more. Now we're getting a little bit more, but not much more. In terms of single paragraphs, still, here's my phone number, etc. Speak to hero, a contact. It's so boring. More. Look how many people. Now it's my turn. I'm not going to read out the full answer, it's going to take too long, but look at the length of the response.
Wow.
And I haven't finished.
Wow.
I still haven't finished. Oh, now I finished.
Wow.
I didn't go into what I was saying there, but if I go back a couple just to give you a flavour and summarise. First, a thank you. Recognition. I applaud your recognition for the need for this core financial planning. Is that nice? Did it make Baron feel good?
Yes.
Then, a sense of confidence and belief from me. Indeed, be careful of some of the comments being given here, as they are not sensible and don't come from experience. What does that do? It means I'm confident. I know what I'm saying. I'm bold enough to criticize others. Because people read that, understand human psychology. If you read that, you are thinking, if this guy's willing to say this, he's willing to be counted. He's willing to be challenged. So you, within 2 paragraphs, you like me, and you think I know what I'm talking about. I may be horrible and not know what I'm talking about, but you don't know. 2 single, so specific answer, 2 single life policies are always better than a joint. Level is better than decreasing. Price is only one factor. There's a real understanding how to structure a portfolio of insurance. I love that phrase. A portfolio of insurance. People talk about their investment portfolio. And why not talk about an insurance portfolio? I then explain that you need to have it in trust, otherwise you're going to start paying inheritance tax. And for example, every week I'm dealing with clients where their policy was too big. Advisors don't know how to make it into smaller policies for tax purposes. My 30 years of experience, I've got a one-stop estate planning solution, awards, speak around the world. First meetings at my expense, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's have a chat and see how I can help. We could save you thousands and give you a next piece of mind. Is that different compared to everybody else?
Yes.
Could you do that? Could you do that?
Yes.
If you didn't say yes, you're right. Because that means you're really saying no. And if you say no, I couldn't do it, you're right. But if you tried, had the courage to try, you might. Oh, and then I sent him a photograph of me speaking in Mexico. Just to show off a little bit more. By the way, I love that stage in Mexico. Another one asked a question. I'm not going to go into the length of this one, but the first paragraph. Please be very careful about some of the advice being given by some people here, as much of it is totally wrong. I wish people would not give an opinion masquerading as a factual answer. Is that strong? Yes.
Yes.
Is that positioning me as the expert? Yes. Just through words. And again, it's a whole educational piece. But here's what happens. The other people that were reading, they all contacted me. This is why I'm getting 3 to 5 millionaire inquiries a day. Why are they millionaire inquiries a day? Because I look expensive.
Oh.
The branding, the positioning makes it feel like if you just want a $10 a month policy, you don't come to me. Good. I want you to come to me. I look expensive, which means if people are going to contact me, they already know there's going to be a big charge. Great, they're filtered. Learn how the human psychology works. On Professional Asian, they really loved what I was doing, so they asked me to run a series of live webinars, which are now permanently act as guides, so I can send people back to that. Each one is an hour, so there's a permanent record. Property professionals liked what I was doing, another group, and they said, would you do a podcast for us? By the way, podcasts. I don't do podcasts. I'd rather be a guest on somebody else's. Contact people, influencers that are doing podcasting, and invite yourself to be their guest. We need a good story. That has more power because it's a third-party endorsement than me running my own podcast. Here's another podcast that I got involved with. Oh, ZTV, you may have heard of ZTV. They liked what I was doing and said, would you do a series of TV programs for us? So I did 3 programs on estate planning, in my garden and in my home. I now send these to new inquiries, they're 15-minute long, because I'm getting a third-party endorsement of a TV series, TV channel, saying how good I am. Much better than me saying how good I am, using the media. I was asked to sponsor a magazine, an event for charity. It was a women's empowerment event. I was sponsor, there was a £1,000 donation to charity, no worries, happy to do that. There were, I think, about 30 women there, something like that. I was supposed to speak for 2 minutes just to say who I am and what I do. It turned into 25 minutes.
Wow.
Because there was Q&A, people started. I picked up, ready for this, 24 millionaire leads from that event. But it wasn't because because I sponsored it, it's because of everything else that I was asked to sponsor. So it isn't one thing that gets you to where you need to be. It's this whole package of consistency that builds a brand that other people want to get involved in. Now everybody get your cameras out, please. I want you to take a photo of this slide, because over the next couple of days, this is a learning event, and I want you to do some learning and practice. So over dinner tonight, coffee, breakfast, lunch, whatever it is, take this out and between a group of you, work out a Bhupinder style dance. Imagine that this was a question on social media and you have the opportunity to shine. If you simply say, here's my code, I'm going to contact me, you're not understood. I want you to write a response in my style, then make it your style. That would engage not just the person who asked the question, but anybody else reading it. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Make it happen. Make this happen. Practice is what will make perfect. I've got to move on very quickly. Determination is the next element, the next key to success. Determination, I call it the 3 C's. In my book, there's a whole whole section, chapter on the 3 C's. The 3 C's work on the following basis. That most of us, when we learn something new, we operate in what I call the confidence zone. But when we stop learning, we move to the second C, a comfort zone. Now a comfort zone is where most of us operate, because we're comfortable, we're happy. But it's a dangerous place. You see, if we stop learning, we stop changing, we stop implementing new ideas and practice, we move to the complacency zone. Because the world didn't stop changing, regulation didn't stop changing, qualifications didn't reduce, they got higher, but we stayed where we were. Before we know it, our comfort zone has changed to a complacency zone. We always need to be proactive in moving upwards into new confidence zones by learning new things. There's a whole chapter of this in my book, and many people who've got the book come back to me and say they read this every 3 months as a reinvigoration of what they need to do, what strategy to employ. I've talked about successes. I'm not perfect. I've had failures. But when I've had failures, I've picked myself up. So in my job before I became a financial advisor, where I was advising, selling my products to other advisors, in my first year, I was the #1 advisor in the company. In my third year, I was down in the bottom. Why? Because my focus was around mortgage-driven products, and the world had changed, interest rates had changed, people were not buying houses, and I had become a one-idea person. My business went through the floor. I had a written warning, get your figures up or get out. That's a big kick. When you get a written warning, say, get out of the thing that you're enjoying doing. I just wasn't doing it very well, because I was in a complacency zone. I'd reached a comfort zone very comfortably. I'd stopped learning, I'd stopped changing, the world carried on changing, I'd ended in a complacency zone. I had to change. This is where a comfort zone is. A comfort zone, my definition of a comfort zone, is a place where our fear of failure exceeds our desire for success. We're not willing to make the changes we need to achieve the success because we're worried about failing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
It's our fear of failure, the excuses we have for not reaching the success we want. But it's only when our desire for success exceeds our fear of failure that we will do what we need to do. Back to that word, desire. Our desire for success is so big, there is no fear of failure, because fear of failure is a learning experience, that's all. I need to fail to learn how not to do things. Because with that, I can become more successful. So don't let the fear of failure exceed your desire for success. I am going to go slightly over time. Can I have your permission to be slightly over time?
Yes.
Organisers, sorry. But I want to share with you what confidence means. An example of real-world confidence. This is a video from BBC News. In BBC News, and I've been on BBC News many times, when you arrive at the reception of the BBC News headquarters, whether you're arriving for a meeting, or a job interview, or you're going on to TV, you arrive in the same reception. In this particular news piece, it was a news piece about Apple Music arguing with Apple computers. Apple Music is the brand computers. And there was a court debate about who can use the word, the logo, Apple. This person, called Guy, had come for a job interview. He was sitting in reception. The researcher from the BBC News came down to him and said to him, are you the guy here for the interview? And he said yes. He then got taken out to the news studio with the TV cameras. And he was interviewed on live on TV for his opinion on this Apple News. What I want you to do is two things. Look at his face when he realizes this is not a job interview. And then how he uses his inner confidence to not give up.
The industry and the growth of music online. Well, Guy Fewings, editor of the technology website News Wireless. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Were you surprised by this verdict today?
I'm very surprised to see this verdict to come on me because I was not thinking that. When I came, they told me something else and I'm coming. You got to maintain, so it's a big surprise.
A big surprise.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. With regards to the cost that's involved, do you think now more people will be downloading online?
Actually, if you can go everywhere, you will see a lot of people downloading to the internet and the website and everything they want. But I think it's much better for the development and to inform people what they want and get on the easy way and so fast everything they can do.
This does really seem to be the way the music industry is progressing now. People want to go onto the website and download music.
Exactly. You can go everywhere on the internet cafe, you can check it, you can go easy. It's not a very easy way for everyone to get something to their camera.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks very much indeed. I think
Someone's told her in her ear he's the wrong person. He didn't give up. Some of us would have said, I'm in the wrong place. Let me out. He didn't give up. And I want you to watch it again and just watch his face when he realizes.
the industry and the growth of music online. Well, Guy Fewings, editor of the technology website News Wireless. Hello, good morning to you. Were you surprised by this verdict?
So, I had to change. I loved what I did, but the world had moved around me. I was sitting there watching TV and golf was on TV, and I realized that golf is a great analogy for life. Life would be really boring if there were no hazards along the way. Golf would be boring if there were no bunkers, no trees, no lakes to be in the way. Just like a golfer, if they are playing badly, the next shot needs to be really good. It doesn't mean they've lost the game, but they've got to change something about what they're doing. And that's what I realized. It's not self-pity, it's the world that's changed. I didn't. I need to get back up to a new confidence zone. And I started learning about pensions. I've never sold a pension in my life. But I became an expert in pensions because I would ask deep questions, I would read everything. And very quickly my business started to turn around because I realized the advisors I was dealing with were going through similar pain. Because they didn't know about pensions, so I was educated and training with them. So never give up. Use the confidence that you have inside yourself. Attitude is our next key. I'm going to have to skip some videos I'm going to show you. Attitude is about when change happens and how do you cope with change. And I sum it up with a very simple graphic. Is change pushing you or are you pushing change? Simply that. Most of us are letting change push us because we're giving in to change. My friends, we need to be pushing the change. We need to be making the change in what we're doing. Don't let the world change us. Let's change it. the world. Focus. Thank you. Focus. Focus on what? Focus on what? Several things. The first one is, traditional management consultancy would say identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, and focus on your weaknesses to improve them. Everyone heard that kind of management speak? Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, improve your weaknesses. Rubbish. Complete garbage. Identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, focus on your strengths, delegate your weaknesses. Because my weaknesses is somebody else's strength. Somebody is good at the stuff that I'm not good at. What am I good at? Put me in front of a client. That's all I'm good at. Ask me to do quotations, reports, back office work, and sit on my desk for months. So I have a team of 5 people that do everything that I don't want to do. Invest in yourself so that you have the time to focus on what you're good at. Don't worry about the things you're not good at because somebody else can do that for you. You've just got to find that strength in somebody else. There's a phrase now again for the younger people in this room, maybe I should have used Justin Bieber as the example, but Frank Sinatra doesn't leave pianos. Frank Sinatra is one of the world's greatest entertainers. He would go on stage for 2.5 hours and entertain the audience. But for him to do that, something else had to happen around him. Somebody had to book the sell the tickets. Somebody had to book a venue. Somebody had to put the stage, sound, and lighting in place. And finally, somebody with the piano in place. So when he then came on, played the piano, and wowed his audience, is what he got paid for. He didn't push the piano off as he went. He didn't take away the stage, the sound, and the lighting. Somebody else did that for the next gig. I'm Frank Sinatra. I don't push my piano, I don't sound the stage, the sound, and the lighting. I don't do the quotes, I don't make the appointments, I don't do the follow-up work. I just entertain my clients. What are you doing that is not making you money? Because if you're not in front of a client, you are not making money, you are pushing people. If you're not, the work you're doing is not about making an appointment or having an appointment, why are you wasting your time? Delegate it to somebody else so that you can be Frank Sinatra or whoever your favorite entertainer is. Focus on how to add value to the relationship. Tomorrow I'll give you Bhupinder definition of value. But value is such an important word that we need to understand we can't deliver value to everybody. We have to deliver value to the right type of people. When I first went to my first MBRT meeting, I heard a speaker answer a question about what success in this business means. And that speaker said, see the people, see the people, see the people. I didn't buy that. I don't agree with that. Because that's too easy. See the people. My message is, see the right people. See the right people, the people that are worth talking to. There's a phrase that shared it last night and everyone went crazy in their dinner last night. The Filipinos, they wrote this down rapidly. I want you to write it down and make it a screensaver because this is a sentence I learned very early in the MBRT that set up my career. It's true of our business. I will only ever earn just over the average earnings of all of my clients. Think about that. If I'm talking to people earning 50,000 a year, I'm going to earn 50,000 a year, no more than 75. Unless I'm killing myself and working 24 hours a day. So, if I understand that sentence, and I want you to understand it, what it really says is, I need to increase the average earnings of all of my clients. I need to talk to bigger clients. Alternatively, if you're not motivated by that, understand that if you give away your skill, your experience, your expertise, your knowledge, collectively I call that wisdom. If you give it away to people that you don't really want to work with, you'll be a charity. And if you behave like a charity, you're likely to leave the services at one day. Put that on your screensaver. So what can we do to raise the average level of our clients? Is first understand Bhupinder's law of success. For my clients to be my client, to be allowed to be my client, you need two things. You need both the economic capacity, enough money, and the mental capacity to allow me to do my job. How many people here have got clients that wish they never had? Hands up, who's got clients that they wish they never had? You haven't put your hand up, you're not seeing enough people. If you've got clients you wish you never had, whose fault is that? Yours? It's not the client's fault, you let them in. Don't let them in. Have a way of questioning technique tomorrow and tomorrow more to identify who's got the mental capacity to warrant being your client. Tomorrow we'll also talk about referrals and how I can use that average earnings sentence to raise the level of income of your clients. My friends, as we get close to the end of my presentation, I will be selling my book outside. This is the advertising break. It is only payable in cash, I'm afraid, but it is in whatever currency you want to use. It will be laid out there, and it's cheaper than the US price. Limited supplies, so come and join me there, and I will devalue it immediately by autographing. If you want copies of my material, some of the handouts I've been using, some of the other material, click on this QR code, it will open an email, send me an email, you'll get a reply back. To remind you about what Einstein said in my presentation, have I helped you so far to raise the level of your thinking?
Yes.
Somebody. Have I helped you to raise the level of your thinking?
Yes.
Amazing, because this is not finished. I want you now to score yourself on your levels of desire, vision, determination, attitude, and focus. Right now, out of 10, 10 being the best, 1 or 0 being nothing, where are you on each of those numbers? We haven't got time for you to do this now, but I do want you to do this. Score yourself. Because if you're not scoring 10, you don't know what you need to work on. Because you've got to be getting 10s to reach the success that you deserve. Who would like to make $1 million? This is how you make $1 million. Because if you get 10 out of 10 on each of those scores, multiply them together. Because 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, and a bonus for doing it, will get you $1 million. Who has a desire number somewhere between 5 and 10? Be honest, is your level of desire? Hopefully it's gone up today. Is it between 5 and 9? Somewhere. If you are not a 10, you have half-hearted desires. Half-hearted desires is the same as 0. Remember, a desire is all or nothing. If you score 10 on everything else but your desire is 0, what do you end up with? Nothing. Desire is the key to the rest of everything else. It's got to be full. Because if it is, amazing things can happen if you've got the courage not to step out of your comfort zone, but to expand your comfort zone. Make your current comfort zone bigger than it is right now. I want you to come forward and join me with some karaoke. Because what I want you to do is tell me, are you ready for success?
Yes.